Thanks, Michelle. Thanks so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about your divorce, like how long ago it happened and what the circumstances of that were?
Sure. I guess I should start from the beginning. We'd been married probably about 20 years. As far as I knew, everything was great. We were moving right along. We were a blended family. He had 3 girls and I had 2 boys. So I had raised all 5 of them pretty much together. When we got together, I wanted all our kids together. So I raised 5 kids when we got together, all ranging from the age of about 11 to around 1.5. So of course, these girls are now 32 and 21, 22, about that. We had taken a great family trip to New York. We married off our oldest daughter, and coming back, I had shared some photos with him to share with his employees at work. And when asking him one evening if he had received those, he was like, "Oh, I don't know, check my phone." Well, check the phone, and it immediately, not even the screenshot, it immediately popped up on messages. And there was a message there that said, "I love everything about you," from his phone to an email address. So of course I'm like, what's this? And he was denied, I don't know. It had to have been somebody looking at the pictures, but I'll find out. So at that, my heart was wanting to believe him, and my head was saying, memorize everything you're looking at. Make sure you know that email address. Make sure you know the day, the time, exactly what it said, every punctuation, every period, and make sure you know. So he conveniently deleted the message. And for about 2 weeks, I would ask him, did you talk to your employees? Do I need to talk to them? Because we were pretty good friends with some of his coworkers. And he was like, no, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. So that kind of went back and forth for 2 weeks. And finally, one evening, after having a few drinks, he came and sat on our bed where I was sitting. I guess I had things spread out. And he told me it was him that had sent that message to a woman that he had met about maybe almost 2 months before this all happened. And of course, I'm devastated. I'm thinking, if this was going on, where was I? Why didn't I get that gut feeling most women say they have? Or why didn't I know things weren't right? It was almost as if I thought we were in 2 different relationships. And at that point, we were in the middle of remodeling our home. So I had a couple of rooms gutted, and we kept remodeling together. We lived in the same house. He moved to a different bedroom. And kind of long story short, fast forward, I would sit on the sofa for days on end in the same clothes. I literally felt like my life was over. And at some point, I wanted it to be over, because since I already felt dead inside, I felt, why not? Why not start thinking those suicidal thoughts? I even had a plan. And at that point, I was seeing my medical doctor, I had a psychiatrist, and I had a counselor. So I had it all. And I voiced to them that I had had a plan, to commit suicide, to take my life. And one doctor, my medical doctor, had asked me, well, will you bring me whatever it is you're planning to do, which was pills, because I don't want to be hurtful. And I just thought the easy way out was to go to sleep. So I told him no. And he kind of drilled me on why. And I thought, because that is the only thing at this point in my life that I have control over. And that is just huge when you realize that, everything is out of control. It's not the norm. It's not what you were used to for 20 years, and you're completely just devastated. That's all you really have control over. And I wasn't giving it up to anybody. So I was in counseling for probably about a year, and the psychiatrist as well. I was put on, my goodness, 4 or 5 different antidepressants. I would have anxiety attacks, panic attacks. And this probably all happened starting around between 2014, 2015. So it's been a couple of years. And I just wanted my life back. I was, wheeling and dealing with the Lord and thinking, what do I do to have my life back? And at one point it was even, who was this woman that came into his life that made him feel like he needed her more than he needed me? And, I hired a private investigator. I tell everybody I just kind of went cuckoo off the deep end of that side of it. And
Can you tell us how you felt like right before, like when I met you? I think it was in March.
Okay. In
Yeah.
March, like I, I was going to say is that I just felt so bad. I felt all those feelings of, fault, ashamed, not good enough, vulnerable, wanting that validation from the opposite sex that it wasn't me. There wasn't anything wrong with me. I was still attractive. I was still pretty. I was still wanted. And of course, for a female, all those feelings just can really eat you up, literally eat you up. And I guess back in March, I was kind of floating, so to speak, just kind of plateauing, but I felt stuck. I couldn't go forward, and I knew I wasn't going backwards.
Yeah. So a few months ago, you felt really stuck. And how are you feeling now? What's your life like now?
Like I said, it was probably life-changing for me because in the things that Jennifer and I have done, they have been things that I never thought about doing ever. But going into those places with Jennifer, she has just really helped open my life. I've grown spiritually as well. And I think just wholeheartedly relying on God and some of the things that Jennifer's taught me to do has really gotten me over that hump. My life has gone on. I had a friend that has eventually become, I don't know, I feel like I'm old. Wonderful thing about it is I was telling a friend the other day, I don't have to work at that relationship. It just happens. And it's wonderful that somebody calls me, pays attention to me, takes me to dinner, texts just to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. And so, yeah, things are really, really good. If I knew back then that this is where I was going to end up, then back then was worth going through all that I did.
Nice. Nice.
So here, to be able to learn how to cope with what I was kind of holding on to, not really holding on to, but was just stuck on my back and I couldn't get it off. And to grow spiritually, it's just amazing. It's wonderful.
Awesome. And there was like a really big turning point in our work together. Can you tell us a little bit about that session that just kind of blew everything open?
Do you want me to say everything?
You don't have to go through the whole thing, just a few words.
There's a technique that Jennifer uses that kind of takes you to a deep past place. And there was one particular session that Jennifer and I had that just overwhelmed me emotionally, physically, mentally, because I had never thought about going there. I'd never thought about revisiting those places that had truly hurt me, that had, just crushed my heart, my soul, my spirit, just everything about me. But addressing those and kind of being the third person of myself and talking to myself was just mind-boggling. I don't know how to explain it than just, it was just being blown away. I know we talked about it before and I don't exactly remember what I said, but yeah, it's just been so worth everything, so to speak. Getting here, meeting Jennifer.
It just opened everything for you after that session. It just was like, whoosh, all the things you had been working on, just, it cleared all those blocks for you. And just all of a sudden you were, doing this retreat at your church and you were with this new wonderful person and you were going out more and you were laughing. Like, I remember you telling me like you hadn't heard yourself laugh for like years, and it was just wonderful sound to hear yourself laughing again.
Yes. Yeah, that was something, because you smile and you giggle, but that's just kind of the cover. It's not really what you're feeling inside. And I think it was probably one of the first times I had hung out with my friend or then friend that I thought, oh my gosh, that was me. That was me laughing. I heard myself. And it's been, I know for sure, at least 3 years, probably a little bit more, that I actually heard myself laugh. And that was just amazing. It was just, like you said, everything that just opened everything, kind of almost like that shaken up Coke bottle. When you open it, everything just pours out, fizzes out. I mean, if you can put that into an emotion or a feeling, that's probably what it felt like, because it's just totally changing everything, just everything. And if you're, to the girls that you show this to, or women, if you think you're stuck or you think you can't go anywhere or you can't just go forward, I wholeheartedly encourage you to get with Jennifer and do this program with her, because it has been life-changing for me. And like I said, if I knew this is where I was going to be 3 years ago, I probably would have been like, hurry up, let's get there, because things are just so much better than what they used to be. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it back then.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle. That was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences.
You're